Hi guys, Jason and Nikki on Udderfarm. We're actually on the trial property this morning. What we're going to be talking about today is we're going out to the Udderfarm. We've got a 1,000 litre IBC container, and what I want to talk about is an inexpensive way to transfer water from either a river, a dam, a creek into an IBC container and take it to where you require it on your property. Ours is for those fruit trees we planted, so it's getting low, so we'll cheap and effective way of transferring it. We'll just make my last cup of coffee, we'll load the dogs up, and then we'll head out and show you. You puppies ready to go? Want to go to the farm? Nelly, Butch, hey? Want to go to the farm? Want to go to the farm? Hey? You ready to go? You gonna go jump on the ute? Yeah? We'll go out and have a look at the farm. How much rain we got out there? Righto puppies, you ready? Ready to go to the farm? Come on we go. On we go. On we go. Go to the farm, hey, to swim. Before we head out the Udderfarm, guys, we'll just check this rain gauge. We've had a few showers over the last few weeks, and looks like we got 6 mil yesterday, so they predicted 10 to 20, but we got 6. So I think over the last 2 weeks we've had accumulation of about 70 mil here, and we've only had like 18 mil on the Udderfarm where we really need it. So we'll head out there and we'll show this water transfer, guys. On the way out to the Udderfarm, we'll just show you, this is the pasture we grazed, would have been just over a month ago now, so we're probably looking at bringing the girls back in a couple of weeks. So I'm happy with that, that's come back pretty well. On the other side, I'll just duck across to Nicole. See on the other side there, that was the first bit. You'll see them down here, they're grazing at the moment in the yard, so we first brought them out to this bit of the grass, so that's had a full, just over a month, and that's probably, I don't know, 1.5 foot high now. You can see we rolled out the hay there, so what they're not eating in the yards, we've rolled out there because it had a bit of good seed in it, so it'll hold that moisture in the ground. It's starting to come back good. So yeah, we'll head out the Udderfarm and get to work. Right guys, let's talk about what equipment you need for this water transfer. Basically you need the IBC container to carry the water, that's 1,000 litres. You need a generator, you need a water pump, 2 hoses, so one going from the pump into the transfer or the IBC and the other one going to your water source. So most importantly, you do need a water source to be able to do this, and ours is in the river. And you need a float. You don't need a flash float, guys. You can just use a milk bottle or an empty bottle you got at home just to float it off. And you do need a dead leg or a foot, a non-return foot for your hose. So when you're priming the pump, the water just doesn't flow back into the river. All this setup, guys, it's about $700 in total. But if you take the generator out of it, we've used that generator multiple times at home when the power goes off. So I wouldn't call it just for water transfer. This has saved me many times from me fridge, me freezer we've got at home. So that's $400. So if you take that out of the price, I reckon the whole setup would be $300 to transfer water. Obviously we carry ours on the tractor. You can have a 6x4 trailer and store your IBC container on there. Easy done. What we'll do is I'll go through, set it all up, and then I'll come back to you and show you the setup and how we start it. Righty, I've finished the setup now. 5 minutes max, it's not a hard job. That's the Coolite float. So that can be a plastic milk container, anything that put a lid on it to float. The depth I've got this non-return foot valve in the water, I reckon it's probably 8 inches. And as you can see, I'm probably 800 mil deep in the water. You don't want that too close to the bottom because it'll pull the mud up and it'll end up choking up and wrecking your pump. What we'll do is we'll head up and I'll go through the setup at the top, and I'll get Nicole to spin around, and that's our distance up the hill. Probably 4 meters. Righto guys, before I go through the startup process, one important thing when you're buying a pump, you need to know the maximum vertical lift height and also the maximum head height. The difference between the two is the maximum vertical height, or the maximum lift they've got on this pump, is from your water source to your pump. The second measurement is your maximum head height, which is from your water source to the outlet. For example, that's 4 meters to here, so my 4 meters would be my maximum lift, and my maximum head height would then be 5 meters, because it's 1 meter above my source. Righto guys, we'll go ahead and start up. I took the liberty of pre-priming this hose, so I took it off. It took 1.5 ice cream containers of water, which is roughly 3 litres. Make sure guys, before you start it, loosen off this breather pipe here, this breather nut, because any excess air that's in there will come out. Once it starts, the air starts spewing out and it's all out, then you can tighten that down. I'll talk about the setup now before I start, because you won't be able to hear it when it starts. So you just plug straight into the front of the generator with the pump. Make sure that's off. You don't want the auxiliary turned on when you go to start it, because you're trying to draw power to run the pump and start the pump at the same time. Start the pump by itself and then give it a few minutes warming up, and then turn on to run the auxiliary to run the pump. That way you're not overloading your pump. So basically, hose down to the water, that hose goes up straight into the transfer, plugged into there, starter up. What I'll do first is I'll just make sure I prime the pump on top. I've done the hose, but I haven't done the pump yet. Yep, pull, put the hose in place. Hose where I can see it. Start the pump up. I let that warm up for about 2 minutes before I kick it over. We might go for a swim, have some lunch, and we'll come and check it in an hour's time. Righto, that's it. Full 1,000 litres of water in the IBC. Just one thing to keep in mind guys. This property is very undulating, and I know driving the Kubota with the 1,000 litres or 1,000 kilos of water on the front of these forks, the bottom or the back of the tyres get really bouncy. Going through a few potholes up there, only 100 mil, and one of the back tyres is coming off the ground, so keep it low to the ground guys. If you've done your forklift ticket, keep as low as possible to the ground. You don't want it up in the air because you will tip your tractor. Keep it low as possible. And I've got hills, so if Nicole scans around where I'm going to drive, goes back here, that hill over there. I drove down that hill over there before, but I went down forward. But that was with an empty IBC container. If I had to go down a hill like that on my property, reverse down the hill, keep the load low to the ground, because you will tip over the tractor with that much weight. Like I said, in the flat, she's bouncy. So, righto guys, we're going to take it back up and put it on the bricks and water these fruit trees. Righto guys, that's the end of the water transfer. We'll have a good morning, have a good afternoon, have a great evening, and we'll catch us later.